WWE officers have been named, and I've copied and pasted quite a lot of the mentions of where they come up. There's nothing too spectacular really, apart from one big point. But corporate officer number one, now very briefly actually, confirmed by Ann Callis, who was Janelle Grant's lawyer. Three, I know Brandon Thurston, John Pollock, and someone else, I can't remember the third guy, did some digging around, basically figured out who they were, and Janelle Grant's lawyer has said, yes, you're right, these are the four officers. And they were going to be named in the original lawsuit, and then for whatever reason they were given pseudonyms. Corporate officer number one is Nick Khan. Number two is Brad Blum, who is the current WWE Chief Operating Officer. Officer number three is Stephanie McMahon. And officer number four is Brian Nurse, who is a former WWE SVP, General Counsel, and Secretary. So no real big surprises on the names, but I mean, you tell me.
Why were they even named? Of knowing about everything?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, they weren't named in the lawsuit because we don't quite know why. I don't. Maybe it's just to not confuse people with too many names, I guess, or add too much fluff to the lawsuit. But they've been named now, and really the big things are nurse officer number four would show absolute disdain for Janelle Grant. Would actually just refuse to look at a turn away and walk the opposite way if she saw him coming, which is odd for a grown man to deal with someone you don't like for whatever reason. February 2020, McMahon sent a message to Miss Grant advising he had been informed by WWE corporate officer number two, Blum, that there were a lot of rumours circulating about McMahon and Miss Grant. Now, I'm going to read a few more of these and then you'll see where I'm going. In April 2021, meetings between Miss Grant and corporate officer number two, Blum, acknowledged that the jump initially proposed to vice president. Now, this is when Vince McMahon wanted to promote Janelle Grant to vice president, despite the fact that she didn't do anything. And he was going to pay her $500,000 a year to have a nominal job title with nothing to do other than be Vince McMahon's sex slave, essentially. Blum talked McMahon out of it and decided on an increase to $200,000 instead as a director of operations. A couple more for you. January 14th, 2022, McMahon sent Ms. Grant a to-do list for purposes of effectuating the NDA, such as retaining counsel, etc., etc., and this was drafted by Blum. For instance, March 2021, Ms. Grant introduced herself to corporate officer number one, Nick Khan, and Nick Khan responded by telling Ms. Grant that he knew exactly who she was. And corporate officer number three, Stephanie McMahon, another high-ranking WWE official. At the time of Ms. Grant's employment with WWE, motion for Ms. Grant to sit in a chair near corporate officer three, Stephanie McMahon, at a boardroom table during one of the meetings. Upon information and belief, Stephanie McMahon knew of other instances of Vince McMahon engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct. So the reason why I've blathered on there is that all four of these corporate officers, to one end or another, knew that a relationship, and very likely or possibly an inappropriate relationship, and promotions relating to this inappropriate relationship were happening.
I've said the whole time it was common knowledge, even down to the talent level and below. You could be putting the ring up, you'd still hear the rumor. The whole company knew what Vince was like.
Vince McMahon was telling the tech guys and showing them photos. He'd tell anyone who'd look. He was letting the referee have a shuffle over the photos.
What is the purpose? So you help me now. I don't see the purpose of naming Officer 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the suit. Is that just to prove that it was common knowledge, so he can't deny it?
Well, the suit didn't name them, but enough proof has come out that who these people are that the lawyer has basically said, yes, that's who these people are.
So a lawyer has said that these people named Bloom and Khan and Stephanie and the other nurse, they all knew about it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's just to weaken Vince's argument that he didn't do it. I don't know how Vince can say he can plead anything. He can't. Well, he could plead insanity, maybe. If you listen to what he wants to do, he wants to elevate her to vice president at $500,000 a year.
$500,000
Yeah.
a year. And she never really did any work. She tried to. And then they just disregarded whatever she did do. I mean, according to lawsuits.
Okay, let's just think back now. All she wanted, he offered her $3 million.
NDA, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
To go away.
Mhm.
And she went away. She agreed to it. Went away. But all of a sudden, he didn't give her any more money. Wouldn't it have been a lot easier for Vince just to give him some money of his own?
Multi-billionaire Vince McMahon. Yes, I suggest he
Yes.
probably would.
Wouldn't he? Or did now I've heard something about that too, that he was going to pay her, but here's the big stickler. The investigation had already started about him and her.
Mm-hmm.
So if he'd have paid her then, now that even looks worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any way Vince can get out of this without losing a ton of money and possibly some jail time now.
Mhm.
It's a criminal act what he did.
They do not have hair dye in prison.
I didn't say that. You are so. Why are you mean to Vince? Why? What's he done to you?
I don't know why he decided to dye his hair in his late 70s. I mean, that should be insanity. You know, a cause for insanity. I know your hair's suspiciously dark.
So you're saying that I dye my hair? Is that what you're saying?
No, you keep saying how you don't dye your hair. It's very dark.
I don't dye my hair. I don't. That is pretty dark, though. We talked about this last week. But anyway, I don't know how this is going to end up. So, but I like the story. I don't like what happens, but I mean, we can all sit around and prognosticate and predict and say this is going to happen and that's going. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like wrestling. That's the beauty of watching it, because you don't know what's going to happen, what's going to come down, what a judge is going to think, whatever, because it's interesting. What if they named, did I bring this up? What if they named Trump in here somewhere? Would they go completely bonkers? I mean, that would just rip the bottom out of every publication in the world.
Hmm.
Trump implicated in sex scandal in WWE.
That would be amazing. That would be an amazing news story.
Amazing. Oh my God. Would we have something to talk about then?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else and all the nightly news and all. So, but anyway, I'm just drifting out there. So you got to pull me back in. But I'm thinking, what worldwide news would that be? What do you think Joe Biden's? What if they pulled Joe Biden in it too? Trump and Biden in it.
And
They all have something to do with this. Everything.
Yeah, Hunter Biden's laptop features Donald Trump and Vince McMahon in threesome.
And Janelle and the girl, he run across them. Oh my, stop it.
Sweaty geriatric threesome.
I mean, stop it.
Hey, that'd be good. We should do that.
Continue.
We should just start saying it even though it's not true.
What's going to happen to those three guys? Nothing.
And Stephanie, no, nothing. I doubt it. I mean, well, Stephanie's no longer there.
Well, yeah, but
Nurse
Stephanie
was fired.
Oh, Nurse was fired.
Yep.
The other two are there.
Yep.
So,
well, Nick Khan's too important, and the other guy, was it Brad Blum? I don't know.
Right. They're not going. It's their business to know. But at the same time, they weren't the head of it, so they had no power over Vince.